I was still deep asleep when a piglet woke me that morning with a knock on the door. Let me just save. Let me make a million saves. New data. Make a million saves. Don't worry about it. Yeah, woke me up. Yeah, brought me breakfast, which I ate quickly before changing and heading out. Morning. Shido, Shirabe, Urabe, and Mitarashi were all already waiting in the lobby.
Oh.
They all looked up and waved or nodded as I walked in. Yeah, thanks for asking. I don't trust it. I don't know why. He probably isn't. There's probably no I don't know actually. Because I was thinking there's probably no traitor or anything, you know? There's no backstabber within the group or anything. But the first person I would think would be the backstabber. For some reason, I just think of the fortune teller. But also the journalist. Those two guys just seem suspicious to me. I don't know why. Urabe gave me a quick, gentle smile as Shirabe began to talk. I don't think that's the twist. I don't think they're gonna be here.
この船が川辺に接岸するのは11時30分らしい。どうやって調べた？いや、そこの黒子に聞いた。
But I thought they couldn't talk. You what?
ああ。一言も喋りはしないんだが、ジェスチャーで返事は返してくれ。まったくおかしな連中だ。
I wanted to ask what sort of gestures they use to communicate time. Yeah, that would be elaborate. I don't know how they would do that. I mean, I guess you use fingers, maybe? Count your hands. But I got the feeling there were more pressing things to deal with. As Shirabe finished, Wakasa and Miyoshi walked in.
揃ったところで念のため携帯の連絡先を交換しておこう。確かテーマパーク内での連絡は禁止されていなかったはずだ。
Let's add each other on Discord, I guess.
んでだよ、めんどくせえ。
念のためだ。何が起こるかわからないからな。
どの道一緒にいるってのに心配性なこった。
He rolled his eyes but pulled out his cell phone anyway, and started sending his contact info to each of us in turn. Looks like he uses that phone a lot. Well, someone like him would have to, huh? Yeah, because he's an escort. Or like a host, whatever. I believe in Japanese he said host, you know? I, on the other hand, have never been good at using my phone. Trying to share contact information was always awkward and confusing. I wonder how his arrow wound is doing. I was still fumbling through screens on my phone when Wakasa trotted up, phone in hand.
僕の番号とメアド、事務所から気軽に教えるなって言われてるんだからね。
Right, sure. I'll be careful. Time to sell his phone number to his, raving fans for millions of dollars. He watched me try desperately to make my phone work for a few more minutes before sighing exasperately. Can't say that word. Before sighing exasperatedly and grabbing it from me.
君、女子高生なんだよね。
Yeah, I'm just not good at this kind of stuff. Okay. He rolled his eyes, shot through menus so fast I couldn't even see them. He sent me his contact info. Wow.
ほら、ここのボタン長押ししたらこの画面になるから、あとはこのボタンを押して決定。
Thanks.
っていうか、ほんと君って変な子だよね。
I couldn't really argue the point, but it still wasn't a very nice thing to say. At any rate, his instructions turned out to be helpful. I collected everyone else's info without too much trouble and gave them all my own.
文明の利器というものはどうしてこのように扱いづらいのでしょうか。
Yeah. He let out a long sigh.
まあ、こんなもんがあるせいで人間が自分の脳みそっていう便利なもんをフルに活かせなくなっているのは事実だな。
You can just Google everything. Amazing.
便利なものは便利なんだし、使えばいいじゃん。難しいことは考えなくてもさ。
Boomer versus Zoomer.
そもそも
is what I see.
僕は人と番号やアドレスをあんまり交換しない。こんなに登録したの初めてだ。
マジか。俺なんかもうメモリいっぱいで何件か削除したぜ。
Now that's your job, Mikura. Come on.
削除って困らないのか。
別にいいだろう。用があれば向こうからかけてくるだろうしよ。俺からは連絡しねえし。
I was right when I met them yesterday. These guys are pretty weird. Pretty weird. As if they have unique personalities and exaggerated traits make them more marketable as characters. As in an otome game or something. One of the piglets led us off of the boat and into the central plaza.
相変わらず見てるとぶん殴りたくなる面してやがるぜ。
Mitarashi glared at the statue and cracked his knuckles. There he is. As he spoke, an image of Hogstein appeared on the monitor. Oh, he.
やれやれ。やっこさん朝からご機嫌だな。
自分は安全な場所に身を置いて一方的に俺たちに命を懸けさせて楽しんでいるんだ。ご機嫌にもなるだろう。
Hogstein sighed dramatically.
"わかるよ。ゲームである以上、攻略法は必ず存在する。解けない謎は用意されてないってことだ。そしてゲームを解いていけば必ず敵は倒せる。つまりラスボスであるあん。おやおやおやおや。
He really makes me mad. What an arrogant jerk.
なめないでほしいよね。
Okay, here's a different face for Wakasa. I've never seen him stare, have that expression on his face, staring at the pig, I guess. Just then, a chime echoed across the park. What's the next game? Where are we going? Some kind of racetrack? I'm gonna go racing? With some go-karts? Hogstein directed us to something called the Racing Square, so we set off in that direction. I guess the next puzzle is racing games, maybe? We were partway there when Shirabe began to speak.
で、これから行くアトラクションは何だ？確かアリスがどうたらとか言ったよな。ってなんで俺に聞くんだよ。
アリスカートグランプリ。
ああ、それ。って俺は何も知らねえからな。
Why does he keep doing that? This happened last time. He just pretended not to know what Samurai Fantasy 7 was. I guess he's not a gamer because, he didn't know much about the games themselves. But I guess he's just a fan of the amusement park, maybe. That's why he knows all these names. Is that what it is? He's like a tough guy, whatever, but actually he likes amusement parks. That's the idea. Does he really think we don't notice? We all did the polite thing and ignored Mitorashi's bizarre outbursts.
アリスカートグランプリ、通称アリスカート。不思議の国のアリスをモチーフにしたレースゲームだ。
Okay.
レース中に入手したアイテムでライバルへの妨害ができるパーティーゲームで、コアなゲーマー以外にも受けてブームになった。
Kind of a hit with the casuals. Okay, so it's a Mario Kart parody. He was right. Even I knew people who were into Alisu Kart. Mitorashi's eyes had shone with excitement at every word Miyoshi had said.
へえ、カートレースなら得意だぜ。俺に任せろよ。
でもきっと普通のカートレースにはなってないんでしょ。 昨日のゲームと一緒でさ。
His face grew pale and he trailed off, but at least it didn't look like Wakasa was going to refuse to enter the attraction again. I'm scared too, but I've got to do my best, especially now that Shido's gotten Hogstein to agree to release the hostages, assuming he'll keep his word. Probably won't. I mean, verbal contracts always fall through. With that, he was gone. Tea party.
やはりレースだけでは済みそうにないな。
ああ、初めから織り込み済みとはいえ、油断はするなよ。
After a short walk, the attraction opened up onto the racetrack. Miyoshi hadn't been kidding when he said it was Alice in Wonderland themed. There were decorations everywhere. It was pretty impressive. None of this stuff feels like it really goes with a racetrack.
なんかちょっと違和感あるかも。
それがすごく受けたんだ。アリスの世界とレースゲームの融合。
No accounting for taste, I guess. Before we could continue, the announcers started up.
ようこそ不思議の国サーキットへ。さあみんな、二人一組でペアを作りカートへ乗り込もう。
カートはあれか。エンジンで走るレーシングカートとは本格的だな。
ああ、8台あるが、すでに4台には黒子の奴らが乗り込んでいるようだ
な。面白い。こいつらみんなライバルってわけか。いいじゃねえか。ぶっちぎってやるぜ。
He's all gung-ho. He seemed pretty excited to get started and kept reminding us how good he was at kart racing. He's probably very bad. Yeah, he's the one that boasts a lot, but he's probably very bad at it.
レースは3周
Maybe, I don't know.
全員クラッシュするか、黒子が優勝したらクリア失敗になっちゃうので気をつけよう。
It sounds pretty normal, but why do I have a feeling it won't be?
まあ、昨日のアトラクションの様子からしてそれは考えにくいだろう。
Yeah.
とにかく組み分けをしよう。とはいえ、我々は奇数だ。一人になってしまう者がいるが。
I guess I'll drive solo. I'll leave you boys to it while I get first place and then
ああ、そんじゃ俺が一人
eat
にな
my
る。
dust.
なるべく軽い方がスピードが出るからな。
いや、たとえそれでお前が優勝したとしても、お茶会への参加がお前一人になってしまう。
Yeah, they did say that, so I guess, yeah, not all 7 of us are gonna do the next puzzle or whatever. I imagine it's because, you know, again, you get affection points or whatever.
本番の謎解きが仕掛けられているだろうお茶会には二人で参加するべきだ。
We all agreed that Shido was right, so someone would have to pair up with Mitorashi. Who's gonna go by themselves then? I'm pretty terrible at kart racing. Maybe I should be the single rider. What if I screw that up and get in somebody's way? I was still pondering when Urabe spoke up.
私が一人で乗りましょう。私は酔いやすいので、スピードの出る乗り物は苦手なんです。二人で乗って足を引っ張るくらいなら、最初から優勝争いに絡まないと決まっていた方が心穏やかです。よし。それでは一人で参加するのは浦部君丸で決まりだな。
と、あとは組み分けか。ここはオーソドックスにじゃんけんで決めるか。
Junk and pump. We nodded and held out our hands.
同じのを出したやつと組む。それでいいな。
おうよ。
了解。
じゃあ行くよ。じゃんけん。
What should I go with? Okay, this is just random, I guess. You don't really get to pick like exactly who, though I guess you can save scum, you know. You know? You know what's funny? I don't know there's probably like a whole psychology thing of how rock, paper, scissors. You think normally it's a game of chance. It's 1/3. Really, most people go rock. But then when people think that, then people go paper, but then people go think that and do scissors. But statistically, I think most people just choose rock. It's funny. Scissor. Oh.
僕と君の2人がペアか。
Okay.
よろしく。
Get stuck with gamer. I'm sure we'll do fine. As long as I don't get in the way, at least. I left Shido with Shirabe and Wakasa with Mitarashi. If I had to guess, Mitarashi would have picked rock. He seems like a rock type of person. And in that case, probably Shido would have picked, you know, the other one? Or something? I don't know. I climb into my cart. Looks like there are 2 sets of controls. One for the wheel and one for the gas. I guess I've got the gas. Just hold that down. Wait, Little Bay wouldn't be able to drive by himself. I looked over at him.
一人で問題なく運転できるようになっておりますので、安心してください。
Kinda weird though. It's like a 2-seat cart, but then you can't really control both parts of it at once. Oh, good. At least if you're like, you know, 2 people anyway. He gave me a small smile and I fell back into my seat, relieved. So I've got the gas pedal, and what are these? There are several buttons set across the dashboard. Missile, caltrops, oil, and boost. Are these what Miyoshi was talking about earlier? But none of them are lit up. You gotta hit the boxes first, you know? I looked over to see Miyoshi grasping the wheel with white-knuckled hands, his face unreadable. Like years of Mario Kart. It's finally put the test. You too. He hadn't even turned to look at me. He's kind of making me worried, but it was amazing in the hallway yesterday. We should be fine. I repeated that to myself and started examining the dashboard. When I placed my foot on the gas pedal, Miyoshi suddenly spoke up again.
踏んだら走って、離したら止まるから。
Yeah. I knew how a gas pedal worked. I just wasn't sure how we were gonna work in tandem if we didn't talk. I don't think I'm gonna get much more out of him, though. I sighed. All I could do was try my best and pay close attention. The roar of an engine started me back to reality. Apparently, Miyoshi has started the cart. A piglet holding a flag appeared next to the starting line, and the signal light came on. It turned from red to green, and the race was on. Ah! The track was straight from the starting line until the first corner. Well, I should probably gun it here and then ease off when we hit the curve. If we try to take the curve too fast, then we'd be in trouble. No, all you need to do is do a hop and then drift. That's all you need to do.
悪くないよ。
Huh? Oh, thanks. It looked like my plan had worked out. We managed to move out 2 cars in last place. Our communication wasn't great, but we seemed to be doing alright despite that. We're in 5th place. Miyoshi jerked the wheel to the side in the middle of the straightaway, taking us close to the edge of the track. I was about to ask why when I heard a noise.
よし、アイテムゲット。
Item Ghetto. What a game. What do you mean?
そこのボタン見てよ。
Oh. I looked down the dashboard. The light next to one of the buttons was lit.
コースにハテナのマークあるだろ。あれの上を通過するとランダムで1つアイテムが手に入るんだ。
Oh, so the lit missile button means we shoot like a literal missile,
ってこと。順位を上げるにはミサイルかブーストのどっ
and
ち
then
か
we
が。
kill someone in the actual track.
アイテムは重複して持てないからミサイルをまた手に入れるためには撃たなくちゃならない。
I see. I wasn't quite sure I understood what was going on, but it was clear that pressing the button fired a missile. I kind of don't like how the game condescends us. They even said that Saki, the main character, was well versed in video games because her uncle was a game developer and everything, and yet the game is explaining to us how like a typical Mario Kart game
ちょうど
works.
目の前に黒子のカートがいるから。
I know how
そ
it
のボ
works,
タンを押してみ
game.
て。
You don't need to explain that to me. There's a big car right in front of us. Shoot a missile. Alright, let's hit that button. And it actually probably kills the piglet. I don't think there's any real consequence for actually doing it, let's do it. Let's murder. It seems dangerous, but I guess I just have to trust him. Okay. I hit the button. Well, I felt the car shudder and the missile shot out from underneath it. It flew along the ground and slammed into the other cart.
Nice. Yarune.
And then they burst into flames and die. Thanks! A huge grin has suddenly spread across his face. Hey, I didn't even know he could smile like that. Bishi bishi. The missile attack slowed the piglet cart down enough that we passed it and moved up. Awesome. Our good fortune seemed to have improved Miyoshi's mood, which in turn improved his driving. If I could just keep working the gas right, we might have a chance at winning this thing. Gas, gas, gas. I'm gonna step on the gas. Good night. Even though we still weren't exactly working in unison, we managed to keep our spot. By then, we moved into the second lap. Miyoshi drove over another one of the question marks and the Caltrops button lit up. Caltrop button lit up and wait, another one? The boost is on too.
気づかなかったかもしれないけど、ハテナのマークもう一個通過したんだ。
When did he do that? You click all the question
最
marks.
終週まで温存しておこう。
But the secret though, if you want
普通に
to be a real gamer, you need to take the shortcut, you know? Almost all the Mario Kart tracks always has a shortcut that you need to take if you want to like really get a boost. Okay, got it. I nodded and went back to focusing on the gas. We finished the second lap in the same position. And finally, we were on the last lap.
そろそろまきびしの出番だな。僕の言う通りのタイミングで2つのボタンをどっちもして。今だ。
Ima. Right. I hit both buttons at once and mumbled a short sorry under my breath. The car behind us hit the caltrops and careened off toward the edge of the track as it suddenly slowed. At the same time, the boost activated and shot our car forward toward the lead group. In front of us is Shido and Shirabe, a piglet car behind them. Third is Mitarashi and Wakasa. I barely finished talking when there was a loud boom and Shido's car suddenly slowed down.
2位の黒子がミサイルを撃った。
Ah. I wanted to see if Shido and Shirabe were okay, but I was too busy focusing on working the pedal. We flew past their cart, bringing us to third place.
決め手にかける。
Huh? Did you say something?
いや、決め手にかけるなと思って。
We were coming up on the straightaway in front of the finish line when suddenly Mitorashi's cart sped up. They passed the piglets. They're moving to first place. As I spoke, the piglet cart spun out and veered off the track.
まずい。オイルだ。
What? A black slick had appeared on the course just before the piglet cart had lost control. After what Miyoshi had said, I realized it had to be oil. Ah! We were going too fast to avoid the oil. Our car went to a spin, careening toward the fence. Ah.
アクセル離して。
His voice shook me out of my confusion. I pulled up my foot as fast as I could. Slowly, it began to slow down. Ah! Miyoshi was doing his best to bring the car under control, but it wasn't working. I squeezed my eyes shut. I opened my eyes a crack. The car had come to a stop just a feet from the fence. I let out a weak bark of laughter. If we were under the fence, we wouldn't have walked away with minor injuries if we walked away at all.
怪我何？
I'm fine. What about you?
僕は平気。
I sighed with relief.
大丈夫か？
Shido was already running over to us. Aw, we didn't win though. Because it's Mitarashi won or whatever. Actually, he was, he wasn't boasting. He wasn't just boasting. He was actually good at Mario Kart, as it turns out. Mitarashi and Wakasa had won first place. Darn it. I mean, it doesn't matter. But I wanted to win, Oh, that's good. I just wish they would have thought a little more before they dumped that oil. We don't get to go to the tea party. Or do we? I don't know. I thought there was only 2 people can go to the tea party, and it was the winners of that kart race, right? Now we opened the door to the next area in silence. I got the feeling that everyone else was questioning Mitorashi's actions during the race, although Mitarashi himself was in high spirits. But we had to win. Maybe that meant something like this had to happen. If the piglets had won, we would have failed that game and everything would have been over. Nobody could bring themselves to judge Mitarashi too harshly. It's not like he tried to hurt any of us on purpose. Beyond the door was a small forest. A blue sky spread out above us. The whole place felt nice. It was all fake, of course. The sky was a painting on a dome ceiling, and the forest was plastic and metal. In the center of the clearing was a single house. The chimneys looked like rabbit ears. I was actually a little disappointed. It would have been pretty cute if it wasn't part of this awful game.
不思議の国サーキットクリア
Aliyah. The announcer's voice rang through the clearing. Aren't you happy? Mitorashi's triumphant roar echoed across the dome. Apparently, Shido had finally had enough. Uh-oh. Time to butt heads.
おいホスト
You know, the lawful good versus chaotic neutral.
ああじゃないなぜあんな危険な真似をした答えろ
んだようっせえなこれだから正義の騎士様はよあの場合しょうがねえだろあのままじゃクリア失敗になるところだったんだぜ
その結果お前は仲間を危険にさらしたな
だからなんだってんだやんのかあつうかホストじゃなくて名前で呼びやがれだいぶ感じ悪いぜ
Shido grabbed Mitarashi by the collar and pulled him down to face him. The other man just stared back, unintimidated. Fight, fight, fight. What should I do? It feels like they're about to fight. Oh no. Ah. I barely thought the words when Mitarashi's fist slammed into Shido's face.
せんだっつの正義の味方ずらはよ
Shido stumbled back and threw himself forward, driving a fist into Mitarashi's stomach. Da! They started trading blows one after another, but they appeared to be evenly matched. We all just watched, shocked. No one seemed to want to step in. Now what should I do? I looked over at Urabe. He shrugged, then turned to the fighters.
落ち着いてください仲間割れなんてそれこそワルドブーの思うツボではないですか
But his words seemed to fall on deaf ears.
いや
Yada yada. He sighed. Urabe doesn't look so good. He did say he doesn't do well on fast things, but I didn't think it'd be this bad. His face was pale, and the longer he stood, the more he began to waver back and forth. I guess he's a bit carsick. Someone needed to stop the fight, but I was getting more worried about Urabe with every passing minute. Unfortunately, nobody else seemed to be doing anything. Okay, so I get to either help out Urabe, or stop the fight. How about I just watch and laugh at them? No, okay. Okay, I'll make them stop fighting. I don't want to, but if no one else is going to do anything, I have to step up, you know? Knock it off, you guys. They didn't seem like they even heard me. Dang, I didn't do anything.
やらせときゃいいさガキの喧嘩だなこりゃ
He sighed and shook his head. It looked like there was nothing we could say to get through to them.
お二人ともそのあたりにしたらどうでしょうか
Okay, I guess not. I guess maybe if you pick the other option, it'll be probably better because you get affection points or whatever. That's fine. Somehow, Urabe managed to calm them down and the fight ended. Well, the fight might be over, but we're still a long, long way from anything you might call teamwork. We come together the day before, but and I've almost been optimistic, but today it seemed like everything was falling apart. The pig's voice hit me like a bucket of ice water.
Yare yare, ochakai ne.
Shirabe was the first to start toward the house, and the rest of us followed. A table had been set for a tea party, with stacks of fake dishes and teacups spread across it. In the chairs were statues of a rabbit, a mouse, and a man with a hat. Mitarashi and Wakasa stopped at the table. The rest of us headed toward the house. As we passed the table, Shirabe tapped his forehead and began to speak.
マッドティーパーティーは不思議の国のアリスに登場する3月うさぎの家の庭で催されているお茶会だ。お茶会の参加者は3月うさぎ、眠りネズミ、イカレ帽子屋。ちなみにイカレ帽子屋はハートの女王に不況を買ってしまったことで、彼の時計はいつでも6時を指したまま動かなくなった。つまり彼にとってはずっとお茶の時間のままだってわけだ。
I wonder if that is all relevant. Oh, hey! I don't know if we should be in this house. This is probably a bad idea. I assume, I guess, the two people, I guess Wakasa, like the teen idol, and Mr. Muscle, Mitarashi, I guess they need to solve something at the tea party, otherwise we'll be crushed by these spikes. Well, as I looked around the room we found ourselves in, I had to agree. Outside it had looked quaint, inviting, and downright whimsical, but inside it was covered in metal plating with no decorations of any sort.
物騒なもんがこっち向いてるぜ。
I looked up to see that the entire ceiling was a metal plate covered in giant spikes.
あの窓から外の様子が見えるようだな。
He was right. Outside, you could see the tea party. On the wall opposite from the door was a giant television screen. At least maybe we can watch a movie before we all get crushed. Maybe. As Miyoshi spoke, a loud clank filled the house.
鍵がかかったな。
開かない。
It was looking like Miyoshi's bad feelings had been justified. What's going to happen now? We were trying to see what was going on outside when the announcer began to speak again.
皆さん、3月うさぎの家ようこそと言いたいところだけれど、おやおや大変。このままでは皆さん死んでしまいますよ。
Nani? As I spoke, I heard a metallic groan from the ceiling.
どうやら天井が少しずつ下がり始めているようです。
He swallowed and wiped sweat off his forehead. Then, if we don't do anything, we're gonna get skewered?
どうやらそういう寸法らしいな。
You know, it's kind of...
お茶会の始まりだ。招待されたのは君たち2人だけだけれど、もしできるならお友達を呼んでも構わないよ。
I was gonna say, it's kind of funny how, like, you know, obviously I'm reading everything in English, because I can only speak English, but everyone else, like, I'm reading Saki's dialogue, you know, as if it's me, but, like, it's in English, but everyone else is speaking Japanese. It's kind of weird. Oh, I mean, nothing I can do about that.
でもそのためにはお茶会のイカれた主催者を従えて許可をもらわなきゃね。
I mean, as far as I know, there's no, like, voice acting for Saki herself, because the idea is that you're the player, right? Saki's the player. The mad host do so. Wait, is this for the people outside? I looked around and everyone nodded. We'd all thought the same thing. Everything was going to depend on Mitarashi and Wakasa. Okay, interesting. I don't know. I imagine the way it works, game design-wise, obviously Mitarashi will probably win every time. The whole kart racing thing. I don't know if there's a way to be Mitorashi's partner, but if there was, then maybe, you know, in a different, I guess, branch, Saki would have been outside instead of inside the house. I don't know how that changes stuff. I don't know how that changes things, though.
そうそう。もし呼ぶなら急がないとお友達が死んじゃうよ。
I mean, obviously, you know, being crushed by the spikes, I guess that's the biggest difference. Although we couldn't hear them through the window, we saw Mitarashi and Wakasa suddenly look up, surprised.
俺たちの命はあの二人に託されたということか。
His voice was grim. If I just got in a fight with someone, I'd be uneasy about them saving my life too.
今僕たちにできるのは見守ることだけだ。
Watching people try to save your life when you're helpless sucks. Being a damsel in
その場で
distress.
思いついた範囲の知識は置いてきたが、なんかのヒントになりゃいいが。
Shirabe rubbed his forehead. I thought his sudden monologue earlier had been strange, but now I saw what he'd been trying to do. We all crowded around the two windows to look outside as Mitarashi and Wakasa came running over toward the house. Mitarashi ran to the door and started jiggling the handle, but it was locked up tight. Wakasa pounded on the window.
大丈夫？閉じ込められたの？
Okay, well, yeah, we can hear them, I guess. They're close. His voice came through over the speaker, just like the announcers had. What should I do? The ceiling is still moving down, but... I mean... I don't know if it matters, but like... The correct choice, I feel like, was just to say, solve the puzzle, dummy. You know, there's no point in doing anything else, just solve the puzzle. Just hurry up and solve it. I yelled as loud as I could and tried not to think of the ceiling, full of spikes, moving slowly closer, but he didn't seem to hear me. Oh, okay, doesn't matter. I gave up and jabbed my finger at the ceiling. At Wakasa's shout, Mitarashi left the door and ran over to the window.
どうやらこちらの声は届かないようだな。俺たちはあくまでもギャラリーでしかないというわけだ。
It's kind of weird, and usually when you're the player, usually you're doing the puzzles, you know, to save everyone, I guess. But we're just spectators, I guess, in the story. We're doing nothing but like sitting here until we die. Shido frowned and made a shooing motion at the two men outside the window. I guess he's telling them to go back and solve the puzzle. They didn't seem to get it though. Mitarashi looked puzzled and Wakasa just kept nodding.
くそ、うまく伝わらない。黒子のジェスチャーをもう少し研究しておくべきだったか。
Are they this dumb? Just go and solve the puzzle. What are you doing, guys? He grimaced and punched a nearby wall.
みたらしさん、戻ろう。この家のドア、絶対に開かないよ。
Okay, finally.
みんなを助けるには謎を解くしかないんだ。
We can't trust the meathead
だけで
to know what to do. We have to trust the pop idol.
仕方がね。
They turned and stomped back to the table as we all watched nervously. Even though they were a ways away, we could still hear them talking quite clearly. You know, can't we use the phones, by the way? They can't hear us in the house, but we have phones, right? The power of cell
お友
phones.
達を呼ぶにはお茶会のイカれた主催者を従えて許可をもらわなきゃならないだったよね。
ああ、そういうことはな。よし。まずはそのイカれた主催者ってのがドイツかだが。
I mean, the Mad Hatter, I guess, the guy with the hat. If I remember correctly. There were 3 statues sitting in the chairs around the table. A hare, a mouse, and a man in a hat. The man in the hat was the Mad Hatter, but suddenly Shirabe groaned and smacked his forehead.
しまった。
Oh, what's going on?
どうかしたのか。
Did you give the wrong information or something?
いや、マッドティーパーティーってのは不思議の国のアリスに登場する3月うさぎの家の庭で催されているお茶会だ。
That was more or less what he said before. I didn't see the problem. Is there something wrong with that?
作中ではこのシーンで初めてイカレ帽子屋が登場する。だからしばしば誤解されるんだ。
No. I don't really... Well, obviously, I've never read the book, but I feel like most people would know about the Disney version, so that's what I think of when I think of Alice in Wonderland, but anyway.
このお茶会の主催者が
Yeah, well, there you go. I was thinking, so it's not the Mad Hatter, I guess, because this is the March Hare's house. The host is actually the rabbit. Huh. I guess that kind of tricked me too. Ah, he's not.
引っ掛け問題か。名前から考えても帽子をかぶった男だと思っていた。
I would have thought so too.
今言った通り、お茶会は3月うさぎの家の庭で催されている。正解は3月うさぎだ。
大丈夫なのでしょうか。果たしてあの二人、
No,
この引っ掛け問題に気づくかどうか。
probably not. I mean, Wakasa probably is of average intelligence. He may or may not get it. But Mitarashi, definitely not. I mean, not to stereotype him, I guess. But I mean, you know, I don't think he's the smartest egg in the basket.
くそ、なんとかこれを伝える術があれば。
Cheeto had begun to pace back and forth restlessly. Obviously, what we need to do is start to mimic a bunny. You know, we need to go pyon pyon and jump around like rabbits, right? And that's how we communicate, maybe? I don't know. Oh, this is awful. All we can do is watch.
ジェスチャーで伝えるにしても、間違って伝わってしまうと目も当てられないしな。
Chirabe frowned and scratched his beard.
さっき調べさんが通りすがりに言ってた話によると、左から順に3月うさぎ、眠りネズミにイカレ帽子屋だったよね。
ああ、それにマッドティーパーティーとかなんとか言ってたな。
You're going to decide this host is the Mad Hatter, aren't they? This is bad. I let out a sigh and pressed my face to the window.
ちなみに主催者である3月うさぎは行かれているんでしょうか。
Yeah.
それは英語の慣用句には3月のうさぎのように気が狂っているってのがあってたな。
Mad as a hare, I guess? Is that? I don't know. Is that a phrase? Have I heard that before?
ま
I don't know.
あ元はといえば繁殖期のうさぎの様子を言った言葉らしいが、
Yes, they act weird during mating season, eh?
とにかくイカれたメンツが集まったお茶会だからマッドティーパーティーなのさ。
なるほどな。だがしかし、あいつらが正解に感づけるか。
イカレ帽子屋のイカれたっていう言葉に惑わされるなよ。
Chirube mumbled to himself almost like a prayer.
なんだよ、楽勝じゃねえか。間違いなくこいつだろ。
He was pointing, of course, at the Mad Hatter.
あの単細胞め。いや、
We all let out a collective sigh.
名前からすればそうだよね。でもさ、なんか引っかかるんだよな。なんでだろう。
引っかかるっていや、なんであの家ウサギみたいな耳生えてやがるんだ。
ウサギ。あ、そうだ。
Okay, oh, they just figure it out themselves.
だよ、いきなりでかい声出しやがって。
そうだそうだ。確かさっき調べさんが3月うさぎの家の庭でお茶会が催されてるってそう言ってた。
3月うさぎ。ああ、だからあの家にはウサギの耳が生えてやがるんだな。
そうだからつまりお茶会のイカれた主催者っていうのは
この帽子の野郎じゃなくってこっちのウサギってわけか。
He pointed at the statue of the Marsh Hare, and we all sighed again, but this time with relief.
いやでもちょっと待って、ウサギの家の庭だからってお茶会の主催者かどうかはまた別かもしれない
Wait,
し。
there's more? But
若さとは余計なことを。そのままでいいんだ。そのままで。
that's kind of funny. He's like, oh, you got the answer, but no, now you're not. You're hot, now you're cold. Ah, this is driving me insane.
人生をミスったか。
Inside of the house, the atmosphere was filled with anxiety and zetsubo. Anxiety and despair, and with every passing minute, the ceiling full of spikes got a little closer.
ま、時間がねえんだ。ひとまずここは素直に主催者はウサギってことで先に進もうぜ。
だね。あんまり慎重にしすぎても良くないか。 で次はその主催者を従えて許可をもらうっていう言葉の意味だけど。
ああ、わかんねえな。ひとまずウサギを調べてみるか。
And just ask it directly, I don't know. They proceed to examine the hair statue more closely.
従えてってどういう意味だろう。そこがなんだか怪しい気がするけど。
おお、こいつなんか持ってやがる。トランプに拳銃。
Gun? Just start shooting? I don't know. As soon as Mitarashi spoke, the screen inside the house suddenly flickered alive. Oh. Is there more? Maybe the people inside the house can do something now? I don't know. We all turned around to face it. Or is he just mocking us, you know? I thought, you know, the people in the house would be able to do something to help, but I guess not. He's just being mocked.
やっこさん、何の目的が出てきやがった？
大方嫌がらせか精神攻撃なんじゃないの。
Our faces went pale.
本物だと。
Of course it's real. Oh no, what do we do? There's nothing we really could do. There's no way to communicate with the others.
とにかく二人が間違えないよう祈るしかないな。
Even Shirabe's usually detached calm seemed to have been shaken. Outside, Mitarashi and Wakaza continued to examine the card and the pistol.
みたらしさん、これどう思う？
スペードの6とクローバーのキング。これはどこにあった？
机のティーカップに入ってた。ウサギもトランプを持ってたよね。
ああ、こいつが持ってるのはダイヤのキング。おい、他にもトランプがないか探してみようぜ。
Command. Well, I mean, probably. The Queen of Hearts, right? He's supposed to command them with the royalty, I guess, in the story. Maybe. Something like that. But how does the gun work? You know, do you shoot the gun at the card? But after a few minutes of searching, they turn up several more cards. Okay.
出てきたカードはそれぞれスペードの6、クラブのキング、ハートのキング、スペードのクイーン、ハートのクイーン、そしてダイヤの8だな。
They spread out all the cards they found on the table.
従えるってことは、もしかしてウサギの持ってるダイヤのキングよりも強いカードで何かするってことじゃない？
きっとそれだ。ってでもよ、6とかクイーンならキングより弱いってのはすぐにわかるが、ウサギと同じキングが混じってやがるぜ。
僕もトランプにはあんまり詳しくないんだけど、確かマークにも強さがあるんじゃなかったっけ？
こんなことならポーカーでも真面目にやってりゃよかったな。
For the next few minutes, they were silent, deep in thought.
トランプのマーク、スートでの強さは一般的にはスペード、ハート、ダイヤ、クラブの順番ですね。
I blinked. Well, you sure know a lot about cards.
いや、職業柄とでも言いますか。占いはタロットを用いるものが多いのですが、中にはトランプを使うものもあるんです。
You can? You can use playing cards to fortune tell? How would you do that? I don't know. Maybe?
とすると、あの中でダイヤのキングに勝てるのはハートのキングだな。
Right. If only we could tell them somehow. Almost as if he's heard me, I saw Wakaza leave the table and come running toward us. The ceiling was down much farther now, just above our heads. There wasn't much time left. I pulled my eyes away from it and back to Wakasa. What should I do? Do your best! Tell him the answer. I mean, I don't know, I don't think it... He can't hear us anyway, so it doesn't matter. As far as I know. Unless he can read lips, somehow. Sure. I tried to make the shape of a heart with my hands, but... Talk though. Huh? That's not fair. It stunk, but there wasn't anything I could do. Are we really just gonna have the hope they get it right? Wakasa ran off back to the table.
おい、どうだった？
まだ大丈夫だけど急がないとまずい。そっちは何か分かったことあった？
お、正解のカードを入れる場所が分かったぜ。多分ここだ。
3月ウサギの口？
ああ、ちょうどカードが入る感じになってる。あとはどのカードが奴のカードより強いかってことだが。
わかるの？
上がらねえ。
Mitarashi grinned and picked up the King of Clubs and the King of
ち
Hearts.
ょっとどうするつもり？
こっからはどっちかにかけるっきゃないってことだぜ。
It's a 50-50 chance.
強運の持ち主が勝ち残る。これがギャンブルの基本だ。
みたらしさん、ギャンブル強いの？
強いならポーカーくらいはやってんだろうが。
Didn't you say...
そういうことだ。
Did you say you were bad at poker though? Or at least, you know, you were trying to learn more about poker? He gave Wakasa a knowing wink.
あいつらまさか本気で勘でなんとかしようとしているのか？
十中八九はそのまさかだろうよ。
They both shook their heads, but it wasn't like there was anything we could do. The King of Hearts. Pick the King of Hearts. I thought about the King of Hearts as hard as I could, willing him to pick it up. Yes. These are telepathic
本当に大
communication
丈夫なの
powers.
かな？
仕方ねえだろうが。答えわかんねえんだし。とにかく確率は5割。
I wonder if that is the right answer. I don't know. He stared down the two cards for several long seconds before finally holding one of them up.
俺はこいつにかけるぜ。
ハートのキング。
ああ、何かを選ぶときに大事なのはハートだろ。
You gotta trust your heart. Sure. He grinned and tapped a thumb on his chest.
奴がバカなのが功を奏したな。
Yeah. Shido sighed.
一応下がっとけよ。
After Wakasa stepped away, Mitarashi carefully slid the card into the hare's mouth. I can't really see what's happening. I'd scarcely thought those words when... Pew! What?
なんだと？
Nandoto?
お
Turns out they were wrong.
今のは銃声でしょうか？
Maybe? I assume it... Oh, I don't know, we'll see. We all looked at each other, frightened. You know? An arrow to the shoulder, and now like a bullet. Like, I don't know which way he was facing. But now, like, you know, first an arrow, now a bullet. With a dull thud, Mitarashi collapsed like a puppet with his strings cut. Is he actually dead? I don't know if he's actually dead. Is he actually dead? No, he had the right answer. Wakasa was shaking Mitarashi's body.
貴様！
He turned and yelled at the monitor. Ah. The ceiling was getting really close. Urabe, the tallest of us, had to crouch down to avoid it.
バカな。ハートのキングで
Nope.
答えは合っていたはずなの。
Nope. Nope. Kawaii so. Okay, so I think my initial guess was right. It wasn't about the cards. It was about the characters in the story. My eyes widened. Wait a minute, that means... Huh? Are we gonna do this thing? I kinda already know though. Come on, you don't know? Wow, kinda like we have this whole thing here. You know, this time we do have to pick the right answer. Let me read the text first though. So, what did Hogstein mean when he said, "Why do you think there are cards? Who can command the March Hare?" Alice card used Alice in Wonderland for the setting, so it's not that strange that there would be cards here. I think the book talks about the Queen of Hearts running the country. Kinda weird, but whatever. There's the answer though. You know, there are a bunch of card soldiers at the entrance, huh? So who can control the March Hare? Apparently the King of Hearts was wrong. Well, we already know this one's wrong, why am I even considering it? That leaves us with a 6 of spades. Said of spades is the strongest suit. The King of Clubs, well, he's the king, will that make him the strongest? And the Queen of Spades. This is stronger than 6. The Queen of Hearts, there are 2 queens, but they really matter? I mean, a king is stronger, right? Oh, not in chess. And the 8 of Diamonds is the only diamond card apart from the one the March Hare is holding. So it has to be one of those. But which one? This one's... I kinda like this one though, you know, because you actually have to pick an answer. So, unlike the other ones I feel like you weren't really picking an answer, you were like picking something that the characters did not notice before. I guess this one as well, but this one in particular, there's a question and there's an answer. This one's just more obvious to me, I feel like. Anyway. Let's go. I'm so confident I only need to pick one. You can pick 3, I pick 1. Kablam. I don't really need to look, I got it. It's a neat little trick question. I like that. That's it. The most powerful person in the world of Alice in Wonderland is the Queen of Hearts. That's the card they need to give to the hare. Shirabe nodded. Hogstein cheered. But too bad we can't communicate that.
ウサギが持ってたカードの数字や数ともキングが複数枚あったのも全部引っ掛けだったってわけ。
He let out a roar of laughter that shook the house. I looked over the others and noticed that Shido was grinning.
そうだぞ。
Aha! Huh? He was looking outside, but why? Who was he just talking to? The power of technology. I looked out the window too, just in time to see Mitarashi suddenly come back to life. Amazing. The pig wasn't the only person who was surprised. Everyone was too stunned to speak as Mitarashi leapt up, grabbed the Queen of Hearts and shoved it into the hare's mouth. Okay. They cheered and high-fived one another. Amazing. Ceiling. It had gotten pretty close, but wasn't moving anymore, we were saying. That's good and all, but what just happened? I'm too smart and cool. Do my pose with my glasses. There was a loud clang as the door unlocked. We hurried outside as fast as we could, anxious to get away from the spikes. I mean, it sure is great that, you know, our phones even have reception here. I mean, I guess this was an amusement park. It's like, it's not like we're in the middle of nowhere. So, like, yeah. I mean, I imagine that's what happened. They had the phones available this entire time. Maybe, I don't know when they actually opened the phone to, like, hear each other in the first place. But I'm thinking like maybe since the beginning, you know, and like Mitarashi was just pretending to not know, I guess. I don't know. Something like that. Yeah, but I don't understand what's going on. I looked over at Shido and Mitarashi.
大丈夫か？
ああ、おかげさまでなんとかな。
And that's probably how he heard about the gun too. And the reason why, obviously, you know, Shido did not mention the phone was because he was hiding it from Hogstein in the first place, so that Hogstein wouldn't confiscate their phones and everything.
問題ない。
I can still remember the fight they had. It hadn't been that long ago, but now they were acting almost friendly?
おい、どういうことか説明してくれ。お嬢ちゃんも釈然としねえって言ってるぜ。
そうだね。僕も事情を知りたい。
ですよね。
We all crowded towards Shido and Mitarashi. Finally, Shido cleared his throat and began to speak.
実は中と外二手に分かれてからずっと俺たちは携帯を通話状態にしていたんだ。
Yep.
もっとも俺は音量をオフにしていたが。
You're kind of giving up the trump card now, though. I wonder if Hogstein would just take their phones away now, but I guess it's a clever little tactic. So Mitarashi just knew the entire time. That's why he was just pretending, oh, I don't know. What about this Queen of Hearts or whatever? Because he heard about everything back in the house and about the gun and everything as well. What? I didn't even notice.
なるほど。しかし全然気がつかなかったな。と、もしかして。
気がついたか？
Oh, you mean your fight earlier was just an act? Shido grinned.
アトラクション内でも常に監視されているのは分かっていたからな。奴に怪しまれずに作戦を伝えるにはああするしかなかった。
Okay, how did you do that well? Were you like whispering sweet nothings maybe when you were like grappling each other? By the way, keep your cell phone on and then punch as you just like hammered your fists against each other.
喧嘩のふりをして至近距離で作戦を伝えたってわけか。
ああ。そして揉み合った時に俺の携帯用イヤホンを渡したんだ。
Headset? Where was he hiding that? I feel like you would know this. Yeah, I didn't notice a thing. Or maybe it's like a small headset, I guess, like a small one that you put in your ear.
おい、おい。
は
俺の腹を殴れ。
は
Huh?
俺を信じろ。
全だっつうのは正義の味方面はよ。
Okay. Oh, okay. So it was like before then. Okay, he didn't even... Before he punched, he wasn't really intending to punch, I guess, when they were fighting. Then he punched. But he was...
腹を殴れと言ったのに。
Oh yeah, but then he hit his face. I think that's what happened.
くそ。なんだってんだ。は？
おい、これ
だこれは。は？いや。
お前に電話をかける。これで俺たちの声を聞くんだ。いいな。
No, this assumes that Shido would have known about us being stuck in the house in the first place. How would he even know that? I guess maybe it's just a precaution. It just turned out that it worked. Maybe? I don't know. He was just assuming that's what would have happened, maybe. I see.
一組しかお茶会には参加できないとなれば、1位になったペアにワルドブーが何かを仕掛けてくるのは予
Yeah,
想
since
で
I
き
do
た。
my cool pose, my glasses, I'm just so smart.
だから
Shido says.
こちらの情報やアドバイスを伝えられるように一芝居打ったんだ。
やれやれ。敵を騙すにはまず味方からってやつか。
なんだもう途中から僕何が何だかわけわかんなくなってたよ。
Really? Gosh.
全然みたらしさんも人が悪いな。
悪い悪い。なんせあの豚に聞かれちゃまずかったからよ。
結局みんなを騙したような形になって すまなかった。しかし奴に感づかれれば必ず邪魔をしてくると思った。
He bowed his head to us in a quick gesture of apology.
まあ最大の難関はこいつの演技力だったんだがな。
あ？ホストのこの俺を捕まえて何言ってんだ。それに結局うまくいったじゃねえか。
Yeah, none of us noticed, but what does acting have to do with being an escort?
はあ？それはお前。
Well,
いいよいいよ、お前はそれで。
it's kind of, again, weird. They're using the word escort in the localized version. It's weird. I mean, can't you say host? I don't know.
サキさん、あなたは知らなくてもいいこと
But I guess it makes sense, you know? If you're like a host in a host club, whatever, often you're entertaining women, right? So you just pretend to like be interested in them, and that's your job, or whatever.
そうだね。っていうか君がそんなこと分かっちゃってるのもなんか調子狂うし。
Huh? What the heck are you guys talking about? They all coughed and looked away awkwardly.
しかし、まさかハートのキングが外れだとは思わなかったけどな。
He groaned a little and rubbed at his chest. Did you actually get shot?
っていうか確かに撃たれてたよね。
ああ、撃たれた。けどよ、こいつのおかげで助かったのさ。
Ah. He reached under the shirt and pulled out what looked like a metal serving platter with a massive dent in the middle. Okay. But that, I don't know if that would... I don't think that would stop a bullet. I don't think the writers of this game knows how strong a bullet from a pistol at point blank range would be. That's all I'm saying.
いつの間に？
なめんなよ。ま、あの銃弾が本物だって聞いて、念のために入れといてよかったぜ。
But didn't it still hurt?
ああ、それなりの衝撃はあったが、怪我はしちゃいねえよ。
I mean, that's sort of... I mean... If you get shot, like... well, the thing is, if it's sort of true in the sense that if you get shot with, like, a bulletproof vest, it would hurt, yes. But you wouldn't, like, you know, bleed or anything. But it would cause, like, some, I guess, internal damage. But, like, a plate, I don't know if that would protect you from a bullet. I don't believe it. But, oh well, whatever. Just suspend your disbelief. Oh, that's good. Mitarashi was quickly turning into the park's punching bag. Although I guess the one yesterday was my fault.
しかし腹を殴れと言ったのにどうして顔を殴った。おかげでなんだか顎の形が変わっているような気が。
それを言うならあんただって倒すだけで問題ねえのに腹を殴ったじゃねえか。
いや、顔を殴られてついカッとなってな。
お互い様だっての。
For a moment, it looked like they might be about to fight again, but suddenly both men broke into smiles and the rest of us followed suit. Gosh, it sure feels nice to smile again. I let out a long sigh of relief, but that relief was short-lived.
あ？なんだと？
His face had gone red with rage.
ズルだと。ゲームのルールによれば内部での連絡は禁止されていなかったはずだが。それに仮にズルだとしてもお前はそれをその場で指摘できなかっただろ。
Shido would know. You know, he would be the rules lawyer. If he was just playing like a casual board game with everyone, he would be the one with the rule book and everything.
お前が謎を出し、俺たちがその謎を解く。これは定められたルールの範囲内で互いの知力を尽くすゲームだったはずだ。
I've heard that before. He was quoting the Count's own statements back at him. What? You can't do that, you said? Oh, I guess game over, we all die. Uh-oh. Time to combat his tantrum with one of our own. That's it, I've had enough. What's this guy's deal? If he's just gonna break them, then when he feels like it, what's the point of having rules in the first place? Grr. Time to Hulk out. That game was hard and scary. He can't decide we didn't beat it just because he's mad. Now we're mad. I guess that's just a catchphrase. You follow your rules, but you're just gonna ignore them? That's not cool. With one final incoherent grunt of rage, the screen shut off. Moments later, we heard a noise from the table. Did you guys hear that?
大皿のクロッシュが開いてる。ほら、あのテーブルの真ん中にあるやつ。
どれ？皿の上に何か置かれてるな。
宝箱ですね。これはおそらく昨日と同じく。
おい、危険だから触るな。念のため、俺が確かめる。
He approached the table as the rest of us backed away, and gingerly picked up the treasure chest.
ゲームステージ2を完全クリア。報酬アイテムを入手しました。
Okay, now I wonder, is it stage 2 the attraction is finished? Like we already finished an attraction? Or stage 2 as in like the same thing that happened in the Samurai Fantasy 7 or whatever, where like there's technically 3 puzzles in the attraction. Whatever, we'll see, I guess. We did it!
ようやくか。今日もヒヤヒヤさせられたぜ。
おい、その宝箱の中には何が入ってんだ？
昨日と同じだな。何かのメモのようだが。
Okay, okay, so I assume the whole like Alice cart attraction is finished. So second attraction is already finished. It felt a little bit faster than the last one. What does 07 mean? Do you think it has something to do with the sun? Okay. I assume all the notes, maybe they make up some kind of password or like an anagram or something. I don't know. They gotta use that final password to do the final puzzle and then, you know, beat the final game? I don't know. 07 sun. Well, we don't have all the information yet, so we can't really do anything with it. He frowned and began tapping his finger on his forehead. Does that a lot.
お疲れになったでしょう。ひとまず少し休みませんか。
Yeah, good idea. Why don't we just sit down at the table?
本当にお茶があれば最高なんだけどね。
でも、あったとしても飲む気はしない。
確かに言えてる。
一刻も早く外に出たいが、確かに疲れたな。
Eventually, we all sat down around the table, except for Shirabe, who insisted on investigating the entire island. After a few minutes of rest, we headed out. Alright, there you go. And I guess, again, 2 down, and 5 to go, right? Was it 7 puzzles? I think it was 7, or was it 6 or 7? I think it was 7. That makes sense. There's like 7 husbandos, 7 days, 7 hours. You can call this game 777, but then again, a different kind of visual novel has already taken like a similar name. Anyway.